Hello, everyone. Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. I want to address something up front and then I will move on with the reading. I've had several viewers come forward and ask me about a one of Cash Peter's drawings. I did actually watch that video, and I did actually also read why he took that video down. His quote, and this is a direct quote from him: I didn't think that viewers would take a waking dream so literally. So I will pull some cards on this to put this to bed once and for all. My feeling is no. No, Trump didn't sit down and say, let's spread a virus across the world, crash world economies, wreck my business, put me on a podium so people can see just how badly I'm handling this. Not see my opinion polls a little tiny spike at the beginning and then back to where they are, indicating that this isn't going to help my re-election chances. No, Trump didn't sit down there and go, let's do that so that all of this can happen. So I do want you to be careful with your fear. I do feel at the moment there is, as things worsen in the US, there's a lot of fear building there, and when that kind of almost tsunami of fear starts to occur, it's not good for you, and it's not really no good for nothing. Let's just put it that way. There is a tendency to, to think that Trump is so, is capable of anything. May he be capable of anything, but could he do this? Would he do this? No, I don't think so. I don't think that at all. And my cards are certainly not suggesting that. What they're suggesting is that there are such high levels of anxiety around at the moment that people are allowing this to, manifest, to morph into something bigger than what it actually is. Yes, Donald Trump is mismanaging. The Washington Post headline said it all. Worst president ever. Yes, he's mismanaging. Yes, he bungled it at the beginning. Yes, he's dividing and conquering. Yes, he's finding ways to profiteer and for those around him to profiteer. I did look at that malaria drug that he's pushing, and my cards are suggesting that perhaps this goes back to a past relationship he may have had. There could even be, because he's spruiking about it, there could even be some indirect benefit to him as a result of pushing that drug, particularly when he says we have 26 million in the stockpile. And so there's that aspect. The other aspect is his ego. And so he's allowing his minions to go forth, including Rudy Giuliani, and talk about this drug as a miracle treatment, and blow it all up. Peter Navarra, the economist, who is, stood up and had a fight with Anthony Fauci, the expert, saying that this malaria drug was the bomb. It's unproven. It's unproven. Let me make that clear. It's unproven. And until the clinical trials are run, then we won't know how effective it is. It's probably as effective as a lot of other existing drugs, that it's helpful. But how helpful? Is it a miracle treatment? No. So Trump's ego is operating here. Because we had the death of one man and his wife in critical care after they consumed a fish food that had a substance in it that was, lethal for human consumption. That arose as a result of Trump peddling it. So he's just trying to make up for that as well. So a lot of reasons why he's pushing this malaria drug. There is something there that goes back to the past that might indicate a prior relationship, perhaps with a pharmaceutical company. I don't know, but there is some kind of past benefit there, or past connection there, that is also factoring into why he's pushing this. But let's go to the main question here. Did Trump release this virus? Now, I have to be careful of the questioning, because when I say did Trump release this virus into the US, he didn't close his borders soon enough. And so in a way he did. Okay, so again, the need to put your logical hat on. Okay, did Trump engineer, devise this virus somehow, and then go to China, or his people went to China and released it? Did Trump deliberately release this virus in China? That's probably the question. Did Trump deliberately release this virus in China? So we have a general confusion, the Seven of Cups. There is a lot of illusion that is operating. And if you look at look at the astrology of this, you'll see that the astrological pattern tells us that people don't know which way to go. They're confused. It's almost like we're in a fog. And these are the conditions of the time. The challenge here is we just don't trust him. He has no authenticity. He's done so much in the past. He's caused so much damage. He's not coming forward as an able leader, and so this is just buying into this panic and again this fear, this uncertainty that is gripping particularly the US at the moment. People are so insecure with this Four of Pentacles, and this is allowing fear to it's letting fear in. And so the foundation of this reading is look at what you fear, examine your fears very closely, let them go, surrender to them, let them go. So in the past we have the Ten of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles is the moneyed elite. There are connections between Trump and this virus in terms of who is profiting, who is likely to profit. But that is in the past. Now we have the Death card in the future. This is endings. It is what we're seeing unfolding with this virus at the moment. It is coming at us very, very quickly with the Chariot card. In the here and now, we have the Eight of Pentacles. There's a lot of work that we have to do to get through this dark tunnel that we're finding ourselves in. The environment around is we're remembering our emotions. So again, we've got Pentacles, we've got Cups here, we've got the Chariot, we've got the Death card. Did he deliberately release this virus? Did he somehow get somebody to release it in China? The hopes and the fears. This reading is taking me back to the reality of the situation we're in now. And the only way forward is a coming together and a collaboration. Fear splits us apart. The Hanged Man. We are suspended and we are forced to look at things in a different way. This is, by the way, the Hanged Man is no. It's a no card, and it's suggesting that you step back and look at things in a different light, because we have a very serious situation here. It's coming at us quickly. It's not time to dive into some pond to make the illusion worse. It's time for something else. The Fool card is new starts. So after a period of suspension, after this lockdown, we're going to be moving toward new starts. We're going to be, this is where the focus needs to be on moving forward, taking action, plans for the future. What is that plan for the future? We will be turning our back on Donald Trump. So I'm asking you to remember who is leading you at the moment rather than thinking that he may be sitting down with someone to release a virus that is just, is crashing economies or has a long-lasting effect on economies, meaning the rich get less rich, and including him hemorrhaging money. My cards show that he's hemorrhaging money, and that his faults are on graphic display for us all to see. So this is a chance to take back your strength. It's not. Don't give it away. We've got the Four of Swords, retreat, the lockdown, the illness that we're confronted with. Move back from Donald Trump, because I tell you what, there is a new start coming with this Ace of Wands post-Trump, and we do have this beautiful the Sun card, which is my card for the coronavirus. Such an odd card, but it is full illumination, no doubt about it, and it is moving into a time where we don't have to grapple with anxiety every day. The choice is yours. The choice will be yours in November with your election, the 10 of Cups, the voter. And look at this. We do have this beautiful 9 of Cups, lots of cups in this reading. I just love it. And the Past card, reuniting with a happier time with our higher selves. We've got new energies moving in all the time. So the Hangman card, from a strict point of view, it's a no. And there is a caution here to remember what is occurring at the moment. And this is the pandemic, and this is what it's taking from us. But it's also ending this Hangman cycle as well. It's forcing us to look at something in a different way. We will be turning our backs on that which no longer works for us, and there will be new starts. And I'll tell you what, if you want to put your energy into anything, put it into what the US is going to look like when we come through this, because we have the Strength and Endurance card. I'm using my Arcanum deck. When the going gets tough, when we need our strength and endurance, I pull out this deck. So no, he did not. He did not do that. Did he bring the virus into the US? That's a different question altogether, because he had 70 days, and if you follow that timeline, you will see that the economy took precedence. That there's a litany of errors here. So in some way, yes, he did let the virus in, and maybe that's what that picture was telling us. Maybe that's what it was telling us. But it's also telling us something else, and that is put your focus on getting through this and rebuilding. Okay, and I'm sure that Cash would agree with me. All right, so, and yes, he did the responsible thing, taking it down. Okay, and thank him. I thank him for doing that. That was. I would have done the same thing, absolutely. But according to my cards, no, he didn't. All right, so the Hanged Man. Have a look at it in a different way. Put your logical hat on and have a look at it in a different way. All right, so let's have a look at, we'll move on to the next question, which I feel flows nicely out of that, and that is, will there be an election in November? At this stage, I feel that it will go ahead. I don't see anything that's telling me it won't, but let's have a look and update that. So, will the November election go ahead? Will the November election go ahead? My feeling is it will, and it's not in the Republicans' interest to postpone it. They'll probably want to take advantage that they think some voters will stay away, but not when I see that Strength and Endurance card. It's telling me that they won't, that people will dress in a hazmat suit if they need to go out and vote. I feel that's the level of motivation. But let's just see what the cards are telling us. Will there be an election in 2020? Will there be an election in the US in November 2020? Will there be an election in the US in November 2020? So I'm seeing the death card here, and I'm reminded the other element of that is endings. What might there be an ending to? An ending of giving your power away, a new start, taking your strength back. That is a signifier card. How exciting is that? Strength and endurance. The challenge there, of course, is Donald Trump. And let that sink in for a minute. Your strength and endurance is being challenged by this measly King of Pentacles. This businessman. We all know who Donald Trump is. Okay? Just stop for a minute and remember who he is. You know, some people have called him a narcissist. We know that he lies. We know that he bumbles and fumbles. We know he's been bankrupt in the past. We know all about Donald Trump. But I don't see him being a serious threat to the strength and endurance card. Let's have a look. There's a downfall for someone, the Ten of Swords. There's a downfall. The Five of Pentacles. By the time we get to November, there will have been loss, and people are going to be demanding change. The High Priestess, something new is coming into form. What is coming into form with this virus? That the need for change, absolute motivation. Ten of Pentacles, money in politics, getting rid of money in politics. Look at that. The High Priestess is coming through, the Ten of Pentacles. The other aspect of this is secrets. You know, do you want to have an environment where every time we look at this, there's something covert or something secret going on, some kind of, benefit for the the corporations, the money in politics. Do we want that to continue? That Strength card would tell me you want change. Right now we have the Lovers card. That's my card for Donald Trump, but it's also unity. It's also coming together. Coming together, there's a very nice fire energy around this. I'm looking at that arrow. What's that telling me? You might have Republicans crossing the aisle to vote with Democrats on this one, because the atmosphere or the environment around this is giving and receiving help, loans and debts. So strictly speaking, I look at Trump and I still feel that we will know something about him by the time we get to the election. Okay. The hopes and the fears. This is usually my card for the fear that someone without substance, someone that comes in quickly, benefits himself and then leaves, may still be in power in November. But the other aspect of this is there's an offer being presented to you. And I feel that the offer has something to do with strength and endurance. I feel people are going to be taking the future of their country very, very seriously in November. The outcome card, things will be improving. This is a yes card. You will have your elections in November, and it will result in an improvement. We do have the Three of Wands. So this again is expansion of the self. It's wanting independence. It's wanting to move. What are you creating at the moment? You're wanting to move away from a weak position into this position of strength. The Queen of Pentacles. The state your economy is going to be in is going to be a high motivator for you, because the strength here is also the strength of your economy. Now, I'm not an American, but I'm talking to Americans who are also very, very generous, who in the past have had those ideals where you know, not vulture capitalism, although that's certainly a weakness, but transforming that into something else. Let's keep going. Yeah, there's a lot of change coming after that election. We've got that Knight of Wands. People are going to be motivated to um, cross lines because of this insecurity now that this pandemic is bringing up. Now, here is another reason why he wouldn't release this, because he knows that if the economy tanks, it is the thing, the key, the extra key, that will push people over the line to vote against him. 70 days, worst president ever. Okay, they're the headlines. So, at the base of the pack, we have the Star of Hope, keeping your thoughts positive. It's very important with this Page of Swords here to remember. I guess we've seen a lot of kindness, a lot of people helping others in this pandemic. This needs to grow. This feeling needs to grow. This is also bombshells. So I'm not convinced that we will get to November without something major occurring to bring forward something around Donald Trump. We have our Queen of Swords here. We do have the bipartisanship, and we do have having to defend oneself. It could be that the Democrats come forward with something that's been hidden. There's something major that will occur on top of everything else between now and November that will cause people, motivate people just to get rid of him. So the elections will continue at this stage that I can see in my cards. There is something new that will come after that. And it will be based on the lessons that you've learned. But strength and endurance, making sure that the weak is addressed. Now, what is the weak? The lack of truth, the lack of the rule of law, the throwing out of the systems that work. All of those things are going to be under the microscope. And so when people walk into those voting booths, or however they vote, absentee, whatever the system is, they're going to be highly motivated to vote against this president. So one more draw. Oops, I'm doing this incorrectly. Oops, Justice is at the is here in the pack, along with Deep Disappointment. Okay, so that fits with what I've just been reading. All right, we will see martial law. That's probably my last question. I'll do Biden separately. My feeling is he's going to be the delegate that goes through, and that he, at some stage, Sanders will join with Biden and work with him. I feel that's the way it will go. But I'll do that in a separate reading. I don't want to cloud this reading. This is quite specifically to do with what is occurring at the moment. Will there be martial law? Let's just have a look at that. I can give you our experience in Australia. In Australia, we have the police really enforcing lockdown, so that you have to have a good reason to leave your house. It's almost martial law, isn't it? But you're allowed to go to the supermarket, allowed to go to the chemist, allowed out to do essential things. If you're still working, then you're allowed to go to work. But if there was, say, 3 people sitting on a park bench in one of our major parks in Sydney, the police would come and tell them to move on. So we are getting very strict about a lockdown, and that's because we're taking it quite seriously. We have a major beach like you do in America, in Florida, Bondi Beach, and there were parties at that, just like there was in Florida. And that sparked so much outrage that the government reacted to that and said, we don't want to be seen not to be protecting people. And so the lockdown has been quite heavily enforced. The fear is that it goes too far. My feeling is in Australia, it's only for this situation. It won't be, obviously, won't be an erosion of freedom, or that government would be chucked out at the next election. So let's have a look. Will there be martial law in the US? Will there be martial law? Will there be martial law in the US? I don't think there will. It would be absolutely, unless it got to a stage where there'd be widespread rioting. We're not there. This isn't the zombie apocalypse yet. I'm joking. I'm joking. All right, so let's have a look. Will there be martial law in the US? Will there be martial law in the US? Will there be martial? Not beyond what's necessary is what I'm feeling. Will there be martial law in the US? No, not beyond what's necessary. We have the Ace of Cups as our signifier card. Okay, there's high levels of emotion with this virus, and you know, to a certain degree, you've got to rely on your leaders at the state level. What is the challenge? Yeah, there's of course the Death card, endings. People are highly emotional at this time, which is why we readers have to be so responsible, so careful. The sun, the coronavirus, but the sun is also full illumination. So this isn't speaking of martial law. What this is doing is speaking to you about what is occurring at the moment, and where, and the end of the dark tunnel. When we emerge from that dark tunnel, you know, keeping your thoughts high, understanding that at the very least, what this will give us in the middle of a very tragic situation is a new leader at the end of the day. The Star of Hope. Why? Because enough of us haven't lost hope. Enough of us are staying positive. The Lover's card. Again, this unity, the fire of unity, is the issue too. It's Donald Trump's card. He's the issue. All right, the heartbreak. The heartbreak that we're under. Look at these cards. The Ace of Cups, endings, and the heartbreak. The King of Cups. This is where we're manifesting. You know, we're not manifesting martial law and no election. We're manifesting change for the future. The environment. Why? Because of what is being broken down. The Tower card. Structures, systems being exposed in their weaknesses. We're in the Tower moment, yet what are you manifesting? The King of Cups. This isn't the soldier. The King of Cups is not the soldier. And so this, again, I go back to that strength and endurance card for you. The fear is around your economy. Is there going to be martial law? This is talking about birthing something new, actualizing something else into reality. It is a retreat to actualize something new. Okay, and endings and new beginnings. These aren't martial law cards. And so I'm addressing your insecurity at the moment. There are endings and beginnings. People are insecure. The Magician is birthing something new, and we're doing that in the midst of a very, very tragic, sad situation. But make no mistake, it's affecting all of the world, not just the US. There's a unity here. There's a unity due to the loss, due to the load that we're carrying. So again, keeping your thoughts, high, not giving in to anxiety. I know that you're worried about the economy. I know that you're worried about what might be hidden from your view. Yes, you've been through the Empress card, the Russia-Trump thing for nearly 3 years, but the new is arriving at this time. It's in the process of arriving. So strength and endurance is where we're at now. there's not going to be martial law. I don't see. I just don't see knights in this reading. I don't see. I didn't see aces, which might might mean there's a new plan being developed. What I saw was retreat, wounded. I saw the tower, but I also saw this energy that we have manifested. So I'm also going to put on my logical hat and say that I don't believe that Trump supporters would come at losing their freedoms. So I do feel that at the state level that there will be there may be some kind of activity. The phrase that I got was only where necessary, but I don't see a lockdown and martial law. Okay, one last look before I go at Trump. What's he up to at the moment? Okay, so Donald Trump, let's have a bit of a look at him this week. You can go back to see my Trump in April reading. What do we need to know about Trump? I'm getting that he's drowning. I feel that he's under a lot of pressure because his mistakes are just so transparent. There is some progress being made on this, though. As much and all as we want to say that no progress is being made, the Army, is it your Army Corps of Engineers, are in New York building hospitals. There is some good things happening, is what I want to say. Show me Trump. How's he feeling at the moment? Okay, so again, the Three of Wands. There's a how can he do this to try and spin this to, get some political mileage. However, he's challenged by people retreating. He's challenged by the deaths. He's challenged by the stats. He's challenged by the fact that this pandemic is not doing his political chances very good at all. He is trying to manifest something. Let's see what he's trying to manifest. Okay, but look what we've got. We've got the Star of Hope again. King of Swords in the future. This is an investigation. The King of Swords. This is a very strong energy. I feel at some point he's going to take a real blow due to an investigation or some kind of energy that's coming forward. That's a very strong energy that might reveal something. That's the sort of truth that King is carrying. And whatever is occurring, it's coming at him really, really quickly. I feel it is this virus. I feel that the exposure is massive for him. When I say, I don't mean he's going to get the virus. I mean that what he has or hasn't done, his performance. This is like a performance review for him, and it's coming real quick because the truth is so clear there for us to see. Things are changing. He must feel that, this wheel of fortune. He would feel that, that the things are changing and the arc is bending more toward the truth. Okay, so again, I say the virus at a time when we are wanting truth, demanding truth, he's not giving it to us. The voter, he's fearing the outcome of all of this. And so he will fall back and do whatever he has done in the last 3 years. You know him, I know him, we know him. He'll fall back on this illusion, trying to create diversions. Possibly that's one of the reasons why he fired the Inspector General of the Intelligence Services, the independent Inspector General who brought the Ukraine whistleblower forward. In his mind, he knew there'd be headlines and there'd be shock value in doing that. So if you know who he is and you know who he is in the last 3 years, that's all you need to know, because you're getting more of the same with him. things are just happening so quickly. The headlines, he can't control them. And, there's always an abuse of power with Donald Trump. But look, here's our King of Cups, manifesting that future, turning our back on what no longer is working for us. There are high levels of anxiety. I feel for him. He's worried, very worried about this election. But look what we've got. We've got endings here, unfortunately. Not, well, endings in terms of what that brings forward with the virus, but this is the ending of his presidency. The ending of this presidency, because why? People know categorically at a very deep emotional level that they want a new start. So he's doing what he always does, and he's looking for ways to, but this virus is, you can't, as I say, you can't argue with this virus. You can't argue with those statistics. You might try, but at the end of the day, this is countrywide. This is across the whole country. This is, something state governors are managing. In a way, his power is being taken from him. It might be why he's trying to use that stockpile to demand this kind of mob loyalty to him. If you do this for me, I will give you this. It's that kind of thing. But this is far greater than that, because the truth is out on the podium for everyone to see. So I hope this video was helpful, and I hope that, we can just get our logic hat back on now, remembering that fear lowers the immune system. It stresses us out, and it's in our own interest to not to let our fear get too carried away or get ahead of us, without drawing it back in and going, okay, what's the logic in this? So that's where we come back to. All right. Everybody stay well wherever you can. Relax, do those meditations, do that self-care, because things are very uncertain and very worrying. And you should acknowledge that. I'm getting a ringing in my ear now. You should acknowledge that. And once you do, stop being hard on yourself. Just take it easy. Chill out is the saying that I've heard from my children most of their lives. Chill out. Whatever way you can find to do that. I think that would be a good pastime wherever you are at the moment. Find some way of stepping back and relaxing. Thank you for tuning in.